Next up, I'm gonna rant for a little bit because the next book is a very frustrating book. Even though the actual plot itself is good, the book's advertising is wrong and is a ripoff. Most Wanted, number 4, Frankenstein's Dog. When you see this book, what do you think the book's gonna be about? Well, instead of Frankenstein's monster, maybe Frankenstein's bride, it's a scary dog, as you can see by the cover. Wrong! It's actually Stay Out of the Basement 2.0. Yep, book has nothing to do with the dog. The dog is in it. The main focus is not on the dog. There's nothing about the dog in this book. This book is fake. The book is fake! It's fake! It follows the main character who has a uncle that is Frankenstein, and Frankenstein has a bunch of hidden versions of himself in a closet, very similar to Stay Out of the Basement. It's just, Stein came up with a name, Frankenstein Dog, what a great name. And then he comes up with another idea and is like, but what if I did Stay Out of the Basement again? Frankenstein's Dog, Most Wanted, main idea 3 out of 5, cover art 2 out of 5, name book 1 out of 5. Name book would have been 3 out of 5, but because it is completely ripped off and stupid and dumb. Characters 3 out of 5, villain 3 out of 5, ending 2 out of 5, scare factor 3 out of 5, pizzazz 3 out of 5, overall B tier 7 out of 10. In 57th place, we have The Headless Ghost. So you've seen this multiple times a year ago, present me, when I did that little showcase on top of the bookshelf. And then you saw it again when I brought it out and accidentally kind of put a little line here. Maybe you can see it, I don't know. So this book is about 2 kids, Dwayne and Stephanie, that like scaring each other. And they decided to go to this really popular house called the Hill House in their neighborhood. And it's a story of the headless ghost that lived there. They get lost in the house. They decided to explore the house on their own. You probably can guess what happened. Yeah, they got murdered. I'm just kidding. They didn't. They didn't get murdered. I was hoping they were gonna get murdered. On page 27, we have The Headless Ghost. Main idea 3 out of 5. Cover art 3 out of 5. Name of book 3 out of 5. Characters 1 out of 5. Villain 1 out of 5. Ending 2 out of 5. Scare factor 3 out of 5. Pizzazz 2 out of 5. Overall, B tier, 7 out of 10. Zombie Halloween. This book starts off in like the 50s, and it starts off with a kid named Mario, I think. He goes into this basement of this creepy house with his friends, and not all of them make it out. His friend, she went in there with him, he got out, but she didn't, and she was actually taken by the zombies, and she was actually eaten. Then we flash forward to the present day with our main character, Kenny. In the end of the book, the main character finds this trap in the basement, leads to the area that Mario and his friends uncovered in the 50s. He opens it and a bunch of zombies come out, including the girl that went in there and died. Most Wanted, Zombie Halloween. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name book, 2 out of 5. Characters, 2 out of 5. Villain, 2 out of 5. Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Very, very zazzy, I will say. Overall, B tier, 7 out of 10. Deep trouble. So this book is about a mermaid. Deep Trouble. Main idea 2 out of 5. Cover art 3 out of 5. Name book 2 out of 5. Characters 3 out of 5. Villain 2 out of 5. Ending 2 out of 5. Scare factor 2 out of 5. Pizzazz 3 out of 5. Overall B tier 7 out of 10. The Haunted Mask, number 2. Now, they really shouldn't have made a sequel to this. Is a book about the original character from the original Haunted Mask, Carly Beth. Well, her bully in that book, which was Steve, another character. In this book, Steve is the main character now. And Steve uncovers a mask in the basement. And this mask When he puts it on, he just turns really old and feeble and can't move. And Carly Beth and Sabrina are actually in this book, and they try to help him, which I thought was silly. Just a little silly. The Haunted Mask 2. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, well, that's gonna be a 3 out of 5. Name of book, 3 out of 5. Characters, 2 out of 5. Villain, 2 out of 5. Ending, 2 out of 5. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 2 out of 5. Overall B tier, 7 out of 10. Now we have an iconic book in the original video, in the original series, Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. I've already talked about this, and I don't have the newer cover, so bye now. The very next book is Return of the Mummy. But if you notice, I have it on the side, because this book, I do have the newer cover. And yes, I went over this in the original video, so we're just gonna... Hallelujah! Now, once again, instead of going the ranking, we're instead gonna... Hallelujah! 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 Oh my gosh, I just realized that this is a first scholastic printing. I don't know if that's rare or anything. I figured out a trick how to figure out if it's a scholastic first printing. And if it goes from 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, if it has the 1, then it's a first printing. So I'm not sure if that's rare or not, but I have it for this book. Now after a while of thinking about it, I actually didn't talk about this in the original video, which I thought for sure I did. Lots of people's favorites, lots of people's, not favorites. The idea about Monster Blood, it's a play toy, like gooey stuff, and over time, when Evan and Andy, the main characters, open it, over time it grows bigger and bigger, and he has to put it into a bathtub at some point. His dog eats it, the dog gets pretty big, and then something about a cat near the end. I don't really know. On page 19 of Diary of a Dummy, Monster Blood, main idea 2 out of 5, cover art 4 out of 5, name of book 5 out of 5. Okay, I guess. Characters 3 out of 5, ending 2 out of 5, villain 2 out of 5 I meant, ending 1 out of 5, oh my gosh, scare factor 3 out of 5, pizzazz 1 out of 5, overall B tier 7 out of 10. The Blob That Ate Everyone. This is a very misunderstood book. Don't worry, Blob. I love you. And yes, I've already talked about this book. So yeah, hallelujah. Wow, we're really getting into the books that... Wow, we're really good. What is wrong with me? Wow, we're really getting to the section of books I've already talked about, aren't I? Yes, I said it. Yeah, I've already talked about this book. In my opinion, this book is it's better than Haunted Mask 2. Wow, I wasn't kidding when I told you we're getting into the section of books I've already read, wasn't I? Oh my gosh. Why can't I say words? In shorter words, I've already heckin' read this. Also, apparently I was just told there was food. But guess what? I'm not gonna eat. I'm not gonna drink water. I'm not gonna do anything else. Yeah. So the title is I Am Slappy's Evil Twin. You look at the cover, and I've showed this cover before when I was showing you something up there. You look at the cover, what do you think is gonna happen in the book? It's suggesting to you that this is Slappy and this is his evil twin. In the book, Slappy's twin is actually really nice. Until the last page. Every Goosebumps book has a twist ending almost every single time. At the last page, the twist is that it really is his evil twin. It's like Frankenstein's dog. It's like, Stein was trying to do that again, making you think it was just false advertisement. He was like, oh, no, the twist is actually, this isn't a ripoff. What you see is actually the truth. Sure, maybe the twin was faking the entire time, but why is that the twist? That doesn't make any sense. The title of the cover should be "I am Slappy's nice twin," and the twist should be, "Oh, he's actually evil." That's fine, but you don't do wait. Let me read you the beginning of Frankenstein Dog. Welcome, you are most wanted. Come in, I'm Arl Stein. Welcome to the Goosebumps office. Blah blah. Is Victor a mad scientist like his great grandfather? Is he also building a monster? And watch out for Frankenstein's dog. Sure, he looks cute, but is he a man's best friend or a monster's best friend? From that, you think, oh, Frankenstein's dog is the main villain. Go away! I could care less, Jordan. Get out of my room.
Why could you care less?
Get in my room. Get out. Your brother looks dumb. Dummy. Anyway, he's saying Frankenstein's dog is the main villain. But he never talks about Frankenstein's dog! I don't know why I started ranting about Frankenstein's dog on this book and I didn't rant about Frankenstein's dog on Frankenstein's dog. I have something wrong with me. I am Slappy's evil twin. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4. Am I reading that right? 2 out of 4? 2 out of 4, sure. Name book, 3 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 4 out of 5. Ending, 4 out of 5. Scare factor, 2 out of 5. Pizzazz, 1 out of 5. Overall, B tier, 7 out of 10. Alright, this next one, Beware, may shock you. It sure shocked me. This is one of the most disappointing books I've ever read. That is Slappy, Beware. If you remember in the original video, The Haunted Bookshelf, I was praising this book for how beautiful it looks. Yes, it does look great, but I'm too traumatized by how bad the actual book is. Especially when I was so, how I was in the video.
Which this book looks incredibly good. I haven't read it yet. I'll tell you what books I've read and what I haven't read in this collection. This is Slappy Beware. It's just look at that cover. When you see that cover, you're just like, it better be freaking good, because why would you waste a cover on that? I'm not a good book.
And poor viewers, this book did not live to the potential. So as you can see, it is a special edition. I decided to read all of Slappy World before I read this, because I thought this was going to be the finale of Slappy World. It wasn't. So as you can see, there is artwork in this book very fast. Slappy in this book was threatened that he was going to die by his maker, and he was actually afraid. This book tells us more lore about Slappy, that he has to cause mayhem and trouble every single day of his life, and if he fails for 24 hours to cause mayhem, then he could die. Well, he fails to do it for one day, because the person he's trying to do it to is just really stupid and can't see him doing it, which is a good concept. It's not done well. Very end of the book, the wizard that made Slappy confronts him, and he's about to kill him, about to say the magic words to put him away, and we think, oh wow, Slappy's gonna die. This is gonna be the epic send-off for him. So Slappy's solution to this is he puts headphones on and blocks out the magic words. If he can't hear the magic words, then it's gonna happen. Yeah. And so Slappy lives. And this book, it flopped, man, it flopped. It failed the test. If Slappy Beware. Main idea, 2 out of 5. Cover art, 4 out of 5. In book, 2 out of 5. Characters, 2 out of 5. Villain, 1 out of 5 because it's Slappy and Slappy sucks. Ending, 1 out of 5. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 1 out of 5. Overall, B tier, 7 out of 10. Most Wanted, 12 Screams of Christmas. The only Christmas book I can really think of that exists in Goosebumps. Most Wanted, The 12 Screams of Christmas. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name of book, 2 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 3 out of 5. Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 2 out of 5. Pizzazz, 1 out of 5. Overall, B tier, 7 out of 10. There's gonna be a lot of B tier 7 out of 10s. Also, quick update on the book I've been reading. Very good book. I don't want to say it's my favorite camp book. I've read at least 2 Welcome to Camp Nightmare and the horror Camp Jelly Jam, which I will show you. This, depending on how it ends, might be better so far. Next up, we have a very special book, which is Give Yourself Goosebumps. The only Give Yourself Goosebumps I have, which is Please Don't Feed the Vampire. Wait a minute. Did I already talk about this in the original video? Well then, get out of here. In 42nd place, the 41st book in the original series, Bad Hair Day. Oh no! No! The main character stealing his favorite magician's box of tricks. And he starts playing around the tricks, and the tricks are like magical. And then he finds one thing, which is a carrot. I think his sister eats the carrot, and his sister becomes a bunny. Now, the bunny you see in the cover is not his sister. But he goes to the magician that he got it from, Amazo, and he asks, hey, can you send my sister back? He doesn't know where Amazo is at first, but then he realizes Amazo is the bunny. Kind of cool concept. The cover is very cool. Obviously, the cover is amazing. Bad Hair Day. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 4 out of 5. Name book, 4 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 3 out of 5. Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 2 out of 5. Pizzazz, 2 out of 5. Overall beater, 7 out of 10. Most Wanted, The Haunter. This book, I think the scare factor for this book is going to be 5 out of 5. I haven't checked yet. This book was very scary at first. Then it started to get sort of not scary when the main character got possessed by a ghost called The Haunter and everything. Definitely better than the book before it, which was Trick or Trap. Most Wanted, The Haunter. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 2 out of 5. Name book, 2 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 2 out of 5. Ending, 2 out of 5. Scare factor, 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. Pizzazz, 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. Overall beater, 7.5 out of 10. Next up, we have another Monster Blood book from the Horrorland series. Horrorland Monster Blood for Breakfast. An athlete, Matt Daniels. I don't know why I just said his full name. He has a very annoying friend, but the friend doesn't know that he's extremely annoying, and Matt doesn't want to be his friend. And one day he pranks him by putting the monster blood in his cereal, which makes him turn into like a 9-foot kid. On page 29, Horrorland Monster Blood for Breakfast. Main idea, 2 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name a book, 3 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 1 out of 5. Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 2 out of 5. The size, 3 out of 5. Overall, D-tier, 7.5 out of 10. I can't do that voice anymore.
I'll do this voice instead.
Already talked about... sorry.
Already talked about this book, so bye-bye.
We have another Horrorland book, Who's Your Mummy? I remember this book is pretty gruesome. Abby and Peter are staying with Uncle Jonathan in an eerie old village. Their uncle knows a lot about Egypt, and his living room even looks like an ancient tomb. Do other secrets lurk inside the house? Yeah, so he's keeping a mummy inside of his house. He wanted his nephews to come to the house so he could take their hair, specifically Abby's hair, because she has like very long hair. The only way the mummy can survive in this book is if he stuffs it of hair, but it has to be good hair, and he knows that she has good hair, like very long hair. The mummy starts attacking them, and the way they defeat the mummy is they spray water at it.
Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name a book, 1 out of 5. It's a pretty bad name, look at that name. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 3 out of 5. Ending, 2 out of 5. Scare factor, 4 out of 5. It's pretty gruesome and scary. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall B tier, 7.5 out of 10.
Hallelujah!
Oh boy. The next one is a doozy. My Hair is Dementor. This book is about puberty. The main character turns into a dog over time.
Sorry, I can't do that voice anymore. That was as long as I could do it. My throat's starting to hurt. So it turns out by the end of the book, all the kids in the neighborhood are actually dogs. You know what would be funny is if I did the really creepy voice, talking about the ranking of this book, but I also did like a sped up version of the creepy voice, so it's gonna sound like really weird. Let's do that.
My Harry's Adventure, main idea 3 out of 5, cover art 3 out of 5, theme book 3 out of 5, characters 3 out of 5, villain 1 out of 5, ending 4 out of 5, scare factor 4 out of 5, pizzazz 3 out of 5. It's very sassy. Overall, D tier 7 out of 10.
Next up, we have my favorite Monster Blood book, having one of the most iconic Goosebumps monsters, Monster Blood 2. What I mean by one of the most iconic monsters, I mean Cuddles the hamster. You might know by now, after all the Monster Blood books I've talked about, that Monster Blood grows when you eat it. Evan from the original book comes back, and all you really need to know in this book that's really important, Cuddles the hamster is like this pet that a class takes care of, and Evan gets in trouble. He gets punished by taking care of Cuddles. I think in some way, one way or another, Cuddles eats the monster blood. Yeah, I think that's happening. So Cuddles is awesome, and the way Evan had to beat Cuddles is he had to eat a little of the monster blood himself and grow a little big, so he had like a fist fight. That one part where in the end where Evan gets big was way better than any of the parts in Monster Blood 3 where Evan is giant. As you can see, how can you not love Cuddles? He's awesome. On page 19, Monster Blood 2. Main idea, 2 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name book, 4 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 1 out of 5. Ending, 1 out of 5. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall B tier, 7 out of 10. On page 11, Slappy Oh, I haven't brought the book out. I didn't even bring the book out. Wait, I've already talked to you about this book. The heck is wrong with me? I'm getting all the events wrong. Okay, Slappy birthday to you. Already talked about it. Let's move on. Next up, we have one of the most iconic Goosebumps books that I actually haven't talked to you. With one of the most iconic covers, number 8 from the original series, The Girl Who Cried Monster. And if you haven't already realized, the title is play on the famous term, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Listen, it's very iconic, I know, but the whole book is about the main character, going to this book club, reading in this library, and the person that's hosting is Mr. Morton. Which is that guy on the cover. One day, she's trying to get a book, Frankenstein's Monster, I think it's called, that she was getting. She watches from afar, just like that, him eating a fly. Wait a minute. No.
She watches from afar. So he turned into a monster, okay? I'm not sure if he eats the fly then turns into a monster, or turns into a monster to eat the fly. You think by the cover, he just eats a fly and then turns into a monster.
But he turned into a monster. And yeah, I'll just show you the shot of the episode because the episode is very iconic. Woo, shoo, 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 woo, woo, yeah. Lucy, throughout the entire book, is trying to catch Mr. Morton, trying to take a picture of him, trying to do a bunch of stuff, trying to tell her parents, everybody, hey guys, Mr. Morton is a monster. Nobody believes her. That's why the book is called The Girl Who Cried Monster. But then, in the end, she finally finds a way to convince her parents that Mr. Morton is a monster, and it happens in one of the best gruesome twists, which was that Mr. Morton shows up at her house, and he has a conversation with Lucy's parents, and Lucy's parents pretend like it's all normal, but then Lucy's parents show their fangs, and then eat Mr. Morton. You see, Lucy's parents are actually vampires. Yes, I know. Amazing, isn't it? But ultimately, the book is not bad. Girl Card Monster. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name of book, 4 out of 5. Pretty good name, I would say. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 3 out of 5. Ending, 1 out of 5. Wait, what? Wait a minute, I have to check something. So I was just talking about how it has one of the best Goosebumps ending of all time. In the Diary Dummy, it has, 1 out of 5. Here is the digital version. Ending 1 out of 5! I put it as 1 out of 5! What am I, crazy? Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall, B tier, it's actually 7.5 out of 10. Next book, we have It's Alive, It's Alive. A pretty decent cyber book. We're getting into decent books. Good books. This is decent. It's about a robot, killer robot. The main character, Livy, has a maid. And I at least remember the twist, which is also really good. The twist is that Livy's parents the entire time are actually robots. This is very similar to the Girl Who Cried Monster. They're controlled by her maid, who's actually a genius. Oh, it's right there. Sloppy World, It's Alive, It's Alive. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name book, 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5, really. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 2 out of 5. Ending, 4 out of 5. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall, A tier, 7 out of 10. We got our first A tier. Clap along, children. I don't know why I'm saying clap along. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, sorry, it was live. I moved you. The next book is also very, very special. We've come full circle, folks. Not sure if this is full circle worthy, but I kind of just decided to say it. If you remember in the original video, I was talking to you about the book I was reading.
Is one missing? Oh, that's right. I'm reading one right now. 1 second. So here's the other one. You can't see it very well, but if I just shine my light here. Revenge of the Invisible Boy. I'm sorry. I keep on saying that. There's another book called Revenge of the Invisible Boy. You can't see it very well, can you? Revenge of the Invisible Boy, number 9 in Sloppy World. This is a book I'm reading right now.
That book is Revenge of the Invisible... Dang it! I mean Revenge of the no! Not Invisible Boy! No! Revenge of the Living Dum-Dum. Oh yeah. Revenge of the Living Dummy! Yeah! I have to say, I really do love this cover. Even though it's not made by Tim Jacobish, I think it's a very, very iconic and really good looking cover. And just shows the new age of Horrorland. What I mean full circle is the book I was saying, hey, I'm reading it, I don't know what it is. I finally will be able to tell you what this book is. Oh yeah. I actually don't remember what happened. Brittany Crosby thinks her cousin, Ethan, is pretty weird. And she happens to be right. Ethan won't stop tormenting Brittany with an old ventriloquist dummy. And the puppet has plans for Brittany too. Ooh. I want to tell you more about this book, but honestly I do not remember the book. There's a shrunken head in this book. I don't remember why. Brittany has a friend. I don't remember her name. Shelly, Belly, Telly, Helly, Nelly, Hubby, Chubby, Screech. Shrunken Head is in there somewhere. I think they use the Shrunken Head to defeat the Living Dummy. I don't know why Stein likes Shrunken Head so much. This version of Sloppy is very just savage. He's not like annoying. He's not the dumb Sloppy World Sloppy that is, obviously not nearly as scary as this Sloppy is. And you can tell, Sloppy Birthday to You is the title of this, but the title of this is Revenge of the Living Dummy. And at the end of this book, Sloppy says,
I'll be back, Brittany. I'm a bad boy.
now we gotta go to the Diary of a Dummy. Horrorland, Revenge of the Living Dummy. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 4 out of 5. Name of book, 2 out of 5. Characters, 2 out of 5. Villain, 4 out of 5. Ending, 4 out of 5. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall, A tier, 8 out of 10. So yes, the tides have changed. The bookshelf is reforming. And this book is the beginning of the best group of books of Goosebumps. The best books of Goosebumps. The books that truly gave me
Goosebumps.
I don't know, I'm making this so dramatic. We have reached the final layer. The layer of Goosebumps. You see the beautiful Cry of the Cat, but I haven't read it, so it's not going to be part of the ranking. We will be going through the top 30 best books. Not a single one of these books are bad, ewy, icky, decent, fine, tingly. They are all good, great, amazing, fantastic, and Goosebumps. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to 30th place. The Beast from the East. Yeah. Alright, I want the music to stop now, okay? You kind of ruined my mojo now, okay? Only my voice now is going to be heard, okay? The Beast from the East. I love this book, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree with me. I think a lot of people like this book. A lot of people just like it. I don't think anybody really has it as their favorite. Probably the most fantasy Goosebumps book. Alright, so this girl named Ginger and her twin brothers, Nat and Pat, they are going camping with their parents, but then they get lost in the woods. Slowly but surely, the woods start to get more weird. The bushes, colors change, the trees get tall, and then they meet these beasts. And these beasts want to play a game with them, and they want to play tag. The way they had to get out of the game, I think, is they had to reach the next level by beating the game. Now let's see what the Diary of a Dummy has to say about it. Hello. Is it me? Beautiful. Okay, oh, I found it.
Beast from the East. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 4 out of 5. Name of book, 2 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 2 out of 5. Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 4 out of 5? I think that's the first 4 out of 5. Yeah, that means that this book was pretty good. The overall A tier, 8 out of 10.
Alright, for that last segment, I was gonna have a microphone on, but I actually forgot to plug it into the phone. The reason why I'm putting on a microphone now is because I think the audio for me is gonna sound really bad down here. So I'm actually gonna plug in the microphone and see how it sounds. Alright, how do I sound? Pretty good? Does it sound pretty good? I hope I do. Alright, next book. Hold on, I don't have the... You see, I have another device that helps me tell me what the next book is, and I don't have it right now. I forgot to get it, so I'm gonna have to pry it from my father because he has it. He has my ranking device, and I need the ranking device, so I'm gonna go pry it off my father. Okay, I'll be back, guys. Hey, can I add this device?
No.
Why not?
Why do you need this device?
And then for the ranking, my video.
But if you take it, then I'll be attacked.
By who?
Bad people. So I have no shield.
Yeah. Okay. I see. All right. Can I have the device now?
But I'll be attacked.
Can I hand the device?
No.
What?
I'll be attacked.
Okay, I'm gonna take it. I'm back with the device. Now, this next book is one of the most shocking books I have ever read. I expected this to be so bad, and I am so glad that it isn't. And every single time I read a Sapir book, I'm always like, you know, you missed an opportunity to do this or this. But this book, I feel like, missed no opportunities. Even the cover of this book is very memorable, and I keep on forgetting that this book exists. Alright, I'm done talking now. 29th place, The Dummy Meets the Mummy. I would like to congratulate the story, because the story has positives on both sides. It has positives on Slappy's side. He's actually more entertaining in this book than he usually is. It has positives on the Mummy side. Again, more entertaining. And then you combine them together and make them fight. That's just cool. And I remember the most memorable thing from this book is that they give Slappy like laser eyes. I don't know why. Babe. There. Slappy World, The Dummy Meets the Mummy. Main idea, 4 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name of book, 2 out of 5. Characters, 2 out of 5. Villain, 4 out of 5. Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall, A tier, 8 out of 10. Next up, we have, in 28th place, Horrorland, The Creep from the Deep. I have a couple things to talk about this book. Number one, the first thing I have to talk about this book is not how great it is, even though it is really good. Like, the cover is just wrong. There's no giant green lizard in the book, but I'll ignore that. At least the title isn't wrong. At least you could say, yeah, we have a creep from the deep in this book. This is a sequel to the original Deep Trouble from the original series, and then Deep Trouble 2, which came before this in the original series. I don't have Deep Trouble 2. They had to continue the tradition of the Deep Trouble series by, having a monster in the front that isn't actually in the book. Also, I read this book before I read the actual original Deep Trouble, so I was very confused about why the main character was talking about how he's going back to this place and how he's already had all these troubles. And then I read Deep Trouble and was like, oh my gosh. The kid from this book is the same kid as from this book. My mind was blown. They get stuck on this island with a bunch of pirates. Dead pirates. Captain One-Leg John, I think. I don't know, Captain One-Leg John. We're just gonna call him that. If it's not Captain One-Leg John, Jacob, in editing, can you put the real guy on the screen for me right now? Thank you, bud. Thank you, buddy. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. On page 13, Horrorland, The Creep from the Deep. Main idea, 1 out of 5. 4 out of 5 I meant. Cover art, 2 out of 5. Name of book, 3 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5.
Villain, 1 out of 5.
Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 4 out of 5. Pizzazz, 2 out of 5. Overall, B tier, 7.5. What? Is this book actually not where it's supposed to be? You naughty boy. Alright, so I think what happened is... Alright, so this is wrong. It's actually supposed to be 8 out of 10. So I'm going to switch it to 8 out of 10. And I'm actually going to put this book below The Dummy Meets the Mummy. Because I just think The Dummy Meets the Mummy is better. And yeah, so just switch that, Jacob. Alright, next up. Not only is this one of my favorite covers in all of Goosebumps, but it also has one of my least favorite covers in all of Goosebumps. It is also a very memorable book with a very unique and interesting plot, and that is Attack of the Graveyard Ghouls. Now, of course, you've seen this cover before when, I did the yeah. Beautiful, ain't it? I think this is probably in my top 5 favorite covers, if not my top 3. Alright, so hey guys, I actually just filmed for 26th place, which was Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. But I just realized I didn't have any audio. I was muted the entire time. But it was actually a really funny segment. It was actually really funny, so I'm actually really sad. So I'm actually gonna voice over what happened. And yeah, I think that's a good idea. Revenge, 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 revenge alarms. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, yeah, I already talked about this book, but you gotta love the cover. Am I right? Oh, this cover is crazy good. I love the green. I love everything about this book. I love the shrunken head. I love the idea. Like I said earlier, Steinbeck likes shrunken head too much. A character's aunt invites him to go to this jungle with him, and in the mail she sends him the shrunken head. I think it's a present from his aunt Benna. A gift from the jungle island of Balladora. Mark can't wait to show the kids at school his shrunken head. But late one night the head starts to glow. But it's no ordinary head. It gives Mark a strange power, magical power, danger power. Yeah, I think his aunt turned out to be evil.
How I Got My Shrunken Head. Main idea, 4 out of 5. Cover art, 4 out of 5. Name book, 5 out of 5. Honestly, I have to agree with the book. But name book really is a 5 out of 5. How I Got My Shrunken Head, I don't know. Characters, 4 out of 5. Villain, 4 out of 5. Ending, 2 out of 5. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall, beat A tier, 8 out of 10.
Another book I talked about in the original video, Vampire Breath. Now, still don't have the newer cover, but so that means I can't hallelujah it. But just look at the original cover. It looks pretty nice, doesn't it? Yeah, I can't really rank this book or hallelujah it, but I guess I can talk a little bit about what actually happened to the book. I guess it deserves that, seeing how, you know, it got this high and it's this good of a book. I really like the idea of how you let loose the vampire breath and then the kids go back in time to this gothic, to back in time to this castle. And yeah, it's pretty cool area. Pretty cool vampire, Count Nightwing. I love him. Yes, lovely book. I'm gonna take you off now. Bye bye. Now, from now on, all the books that are a part of the later collection of books like Most Wanted or Slappy World is very controversial, whatever weirdos think it's controversial. It's controversial, okay? It's controversial. What did I just say? Controversial? Controversial. Stop. The next books that you will see in the later series of Goosebumps, like Most Wanted, Slappy World, they're going to be very controversial. Just so you know, for people that, you know, don't really know Goosebumps too much and are for some reason this far into the video, basically almost 2 hours at this point, something like that, which is just crazy. So the next book I'm about to show you, and from now on, is going to be very controversial because people will definitely not agree with this. A lot of people will dislike these books I'm about to show you, but I am very different. So yes, in 23rd place, we have Slappy World number 2, Attack of the Jack. A lot of people hate how goofy this book is. I actually love it. Violet and Sean Packer have been sent out to sea. Well, more like sent out to visit their Uncle Jim, who lives near the ocean. But Violet and her brother realize quickly that the lighthouse is full of Admiral Jim's secrets, like a door that he tells them never to open. And Captain Jack, who is absolutely not what he seems. And in the room is a treasure chest. And the treasure chest is a bunch of, what is it called? Jack-in-the-Box is it's called. It's one of those things that when you twist it, it pops out at you. When they twist the Pop-in-a-Jocks, it comes out at them, and it actually comes out. They transform into real people, and the main one is Captain Jack, as you see on the cover. And from there, the book is absolutely nuts. I can't even remember what happened in the book next. Slappy World, The Attack of the Jack.
Main idea, 4 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name book, 3 out of 5. Characters, 4 out of 5. Villain, 2 out of 5. Ending, 4 out of 5. Scare factor, 1 out of 5. Like I said, very goofy. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall, A tier. Really? 9 out of 10? That's our first 9 out of 10? I was not expecting that, but okay. 9 out of 10, baby! Woo! Attack of the Jackets is 8.5. Okay, it's not 9 out of 5, it's 8.5. It is not, I repeat, it is not a 9 out of 5, it is an 8.5. Well then.
The next book's also going to be very controversial because it is a newer book and people hate newer books. Somewhere over here. A Nightmare on Clown Street. I already talked about this in the original video, and it looks pretty good, honestly. Actually, I'm going to Hallelujah for a second. Hallelujah. That's how much I like it. This is about an uncle taking his nephew to his circus where he works, and this uncle is actually Murder the Clown. This whole book is about, ooh, how scary Murder the Clown is. The real villain is the Frightener, who makes all these clowns work at the circus. I think. Next place. For 3 in a Row is another controversial book from a newer series. This book, I can understand why people don't like it very much, and I talked about this in the original video, which is Revenge of the Invisible Boy. I know the book I was saying, yes. This is just a way better invisible story than... Yeah. You, get back in your cubby. Get back in your cubby, let's get invisible. Nobody wants you. Get back in your cubby. Anyway, Revenge of the Invisible Boy is a much more nuanced and effective, just a better story. So let's move on. I also really like what they've done with the cover. Next up, we have a book that I can make more of a case for instead of Invisible Boy. I have not talked about this in the original video, and for 4 in a Row is another controversial book that is Sloppy World. Please do not feed the weirdo. Anybody who's read this book and is watching this video is rolling their eyes saying, no, book's not good. I don't care what you have to say. This book is great. This book is very unique, very creative. I don't care what you have to say. Shape-shifting human that is, at first, when we meet him, is a kid and tricks the main character into giving him food. But when he is given food, he turns into this monster, the weirdo. And then later he goes to his house and is like, I mean it, give me food. And then he gives him food and then turns into a monster and then trashes the house. The parents get there, the weirdo's gone, and the parents are like, what did you do, Bobby? Is my character named Bobby? I'm not sure. No, it's Jordan. Sorry, Jordan. Sorry I called you Bobby. I'm sorry. Anyway, Jordan gets blamed for the mess. So yes, it's wonderful. People are hating this book because they don't understand the book. I understand you, weirdo. Don't worry. Sloppy World. Please don't feed the weirdo. Main idea, 5 out of 5. You bet your biscuits it's a 5 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name book, 4 out of 5. You bet your biscuits it's 4 out of 5. Characters, 4 out of 5. You bet your biscuits the characters are 4 out of 5. Villain, 3 out of 5. Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 4 out of 5. You bet your pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall, A tier, 9 out of 10, baby. Next up, we have an original series book, and where I place it is probably not going to be very controversial at all, because many people love this book. And that is Welcome to Camp Nightmare. So this kid goes to this camp called Camp Nightmare, or Camp Night Moon, and then all these kids talk to him about the monster that lives in the camp called Saber, and Saber's right there, he looks amazing. Throughout this book, the kid is very heroic. He does a bunch of things to help people out. He looks for kids that are lost. There's a snake in this kid's bed. He grabs the sheets and tosses the snake out. And later in the book, he also saves one of the counselors from drowning. And then in the end of the book, everything in this Camp Nightmare that happens was all a test to prepare the main character to venture off to Earth. You see, this entire book was actually on a different planet. I didn't really explain it very well, but I hope you understand, at least. You understand how amazing it is. Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 5 out of 5. Name of book, 4 out of 5. Characters, 4 out of 5. Villain, 1 out of 5. Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 4 out of 5. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall, A tier, 9 out of 10. In 19th place, we have Ghost Camp. You might be very confused. 1. why did the place not change? I thought that Welcome to Camp Nightmare was an 90th place. Well, no sir, because I just read Ghost Camp and this is where I placed it, in 19th place. This whole video is a lie. I've actually read 91 books, not 90. So yeah, the reason why I put this just one place ahead of Welcome to Camp Nightmare is because I think this book has a better atmosphere, and overall a better tone, sort of a better idea. I like how instead of Saber, the whole premise is, can you trust any of these people that are around you? Are they all just ghosts? So they get to the camp and the people in the camp keep on pranking them. They keep on doing these weird things. Harry meets this girl, Lucy. They're roasting hot dogs over a fire. The main character drops his hot dog into the fire, and Lucy just picks it up, puts her entire hand in the fire, grabs it. Another point in the book, two kids are playing around with tent poles, and at some point the kid falls on top of a pointy tent pole. Like John from Save Cheese and Die Again, where he had the screw through his foot, and again, we love you, John. We don't love this random side character that has a pole through his foot. He doesn't actually have a pole through his foot. You see, the main character was seeing things. Seeing things. Later, we figure out he did actually have a pole through his foot. Lucy did actually stick her hand in the fire, and nothing actually happened to her because they are all ghosts.
Ghost Camp. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 4 out of 5. Name of book, 3 out of 5. Characters, 4 out of 5. Villain, 3 out of 5. Ending, 4 out of 5. Scare factor, 4 out of 5. Pizzazz, 4 out of 5. Overall, A tier, 9 out of 10. Why is this 8.5?
Alright, so the next book is a very special book, but also probably the most controversial book I have in my entire 90 book list. It is my 18th favorite Goosebumps book I've ever read. This book, Stein put effort into it. Not the book before it. The book before it, Stein put zero effort in it. A book in the Sloppy World series, right after, the worst Goosebumps book I've ever read. And that book is Sloppy World, number 19, the final Sloppy World book, Fright Night. This book is beautiful. It truly gave Sloppy World one final ride into the sunset, because this book is good. I call this book the complete opposite of Night of the Squawker, because in my opinion, this book, Stein obviously had a good idea. He was told to make 20 Sloppy World books, and he sort of did with all the 19 normal ones, and then Sloppy Beware, the special edition. So this was meant to be, just finish the contract, make the 20th book, whatever. And that's how it felt with Night of the Squawker, the 19th book. It feels like filler, no interest in the actual book, I don't care about the book, who cares? He could have been sleeping while writing Night of the Squawker. At that point, But this book feels like the complete opposite. I think that it was originally meant to be filler, then Stein had an actual idea. This book is about Kelly Crosby, a new kid who just moved into this new area, goes into this new school. All the kids are kind of nice, but everything is a little bit weird. He's already gotten lost, had trouble making friends, and annoyed the monster that lives in the school basement. That's right, this new school has a monster. All the area schools do. Every single school in the area has a monster in the basement. And they sort of use this monster as kind of like a mascot. Every year at a party called Fright Night, one unlucky kid is chosen to be the monster's special guest of honor. The main character is the monster's special guest of honor. Sloppy World, Fright Night. Main idea, 4 out of 5. Cover art, 4 out of 5. Name of book, 3 out of 5. Characters, 4 out of 5. Villain, 2 out of 5. Ending, 2 out of 5. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 5 out of 5. You guys see that? Yeah, I think you do. Overall, 8 tier, 9 out of 10 is meant to be. Excuse me. Original series, The Ghost Next Door. I've already talked about this in the original video, and I don't have the newer cover. And I said it was probably the saddest book in Goosebumps. It still is, honestly. Pretty good. Anyway, no ranking. Let's move on. Earth Angel, Earth angel, please be mine. Beautiful, beautiful. Play it again, hands. A kid hears a piano playing in the attic and goes to investigate. He goes up there and there's nobody playing the piano. Ooh, scary.
But then he moves the piano downstairs, I think, or they buy a new piano from him. I think it was downstairs. I don't know. So the piano moves upstairs and he hears playing again. He goes to investigate and he sees the ghost playing it, and the ghost tells him to watch out. Ooh. And he sees that the ghost doesn't have any hands because it has stumps for hands. So yeah. And then he wants to learn how to play piano, so he goes to his piano teaching school, and his piano teacher is named Dr. Screech. He gives him lessons, and he keeps on talking about how the main character, I'm calling him the main character, Jerry, how Jerry has these great hands. Dr. Screech keeps on talking about how Jerry has these great hands. That's because we think that Dr. Screech is trying to take Jerry's hands and use them for his own. And we figure out that Dr. Screech is actually just a robot made by the janitor, who's actually made these ghosts play the pianos, and
I warned you, the ghost woman wailed, her red eyes glowing with fury. I warned you. No, please, I managed to cry in a choked voice. I raised my hands in front of me, trying to shield myself from her. Please, let me go! To my surprise, she floated right past me. She was glaring at Mr. Toggle, I realized. The ghost woman raised her arms. Awaken, I wailed. Awaken! They were ghosts, I realized. Both ghosts of boys, girls, women, and women. I watched frozen in horror as they rose up, claimed their hands, moved their fingers, touched their hands. No, get away, Mr. Toggle shrieks. He turned and tried to flee through the doors. Piano lessons can be murder. Main idea, 4 out of 5. Cover art, 5 out of 5. Name of book, 5 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 4 out of 5. Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 5 out of 5. Pizzazz, 3 out of 5. Overall. And baby, oh baby. This is our first G tier, 9 out of 10. You might be asking, what is G tier? G tier means Goosebumps. True Goosebumps, iconic Goosebumps, amazing Goosebumps. And that's what this layer represents.
From now on, you're only gonna get the best of G tier. Earth angel, please be mine. Now, this next book is from the original series, and I've already talked about it. But remember earlier when I said that there might be some books from the original video that I've changed? Well, this is the only book I think that I really changed, like a bunch, from its original ranking. And that is The Abomination of Pasadena. First of all, hallelujah. Second, I'm going to talk to you about why I changed this book to where it is now. I realized over time that this book is actually way better than I give it credit for. The characters are great. The way the book works itself is great. The Abominable Snow in Pasadena isn't just a lame abominable snowman like the werewolf from Werewolf of Fear Swamp was. How it was just a werewolf and that was it. The twist that he's a good guy makes everybody mad when they talk about his book, but it actually makes the book way better. And now I changed it to G tier, 9 out of 10. Because this book deserves it. But it just missed out of the top 10. The next book, 14th place. Original series, number 33. My favorite camp book ever made by Goosebumps, probably ever made actually. The Horror at Camp Jelly Jam. This is the third copy with the free decal of Doom. You could actually take out the decal of Doom, so I'm actually going to do that. This decal of Doom has the cover of a Tales to Give You Goosebumps book. There it is. Curly! Curly! I don't think it's very fair to show this only copy of Horror Camp Jelly Jam just because it has the decal of Doom. So I'm gonna be fair. There we go. Now it's a party. Swimming, basketball, archery, King Jelly Jam Sports Camp has it all. It's just a game, right? Wrong! Because Camp Jelly Jam is no ordinary sports camp. A giant gooey monster named King Jelly Jam lives under there, and he needs to be cleaned because when he's not cleaned, he's very stinky. So this is one giant 2 pages of when they find out the kids are all cleaning King Jelly Jam. Look at that. It is truly beautiful. I love King Jelly Jam. The Horror at Camp Jelly Jam. Main idea, 4 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name of book, 4 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 4 out of 5. Ending, 2 out of 5. Scare factor, 4 out of 5. Pizzazz, 4 out of 5. Oh yeah. If you have a book that has scare factor 4 out of 5 and pizzazz 4 out of 5, you know you got some good. Overall, G tier, 9 out of 10. An angel, please be mine. One of my favorite Goosebumps monsters, probably my top 5, top 3 favorite Goosebumps monsters. It came from beneath the sink. I think both these versions look pretty good. I couldn't pick which one I wanted to show, so let's show both. So, they move into this new house, and the main character stumbles into the sink and finds the sponge. But the sponge is moving a little bit. It's kind of breathing. The sponge is actually a bad luck charm. So the sponge causes a bunch of bad things to happen. Glasses spilled all over the bathroom. Character steps in it when they first find the gruel, and then they lose their dog. Killer. I think a teacher slams their hand in a drawer.
They find this book of monsters, and in the book of monsters, they finally read about the sponge that causes bad luck to happen. And the sponge is called the Gruel, baby. The Gruel is up there with King Jelly Jam, Cuddles the hamster, Curly the skeleton. In the end, they figure out that they need to defeat the evilness of the Gruel by being kind to it. Now, in the book, they're kind to it, and it works.
It starts to evaporate away. But I think I like how the episode does it more. The way the episode does it, at first they're being kind to it, but then the episode ends with her waking up next to the Gruel with headphones on, and he's, jamming out to his song. I like that better, but the book is still completely amazing.
It came from beneath the sink. Main idea, 3 out of 5. Cover art, 3 out of 5. Name of book, 5 out of 5. Pretty good name. Characters, 4 out of 5. Villain, 5 out of 5, because it's a heckin' sponge that causes bad luck, and that's amazing. Ending, 3 out of 5. Scare factor, 4 out of 5. Pizzazz, 5 out of 5. Overall, G tier, 9 out of 10. I love this book.
But we haven't even gotten into the top 10 yet. And when we do, you'll be shocked. You'll be absolutely shocked out of your mind. You'll be a shocker on Shock Street, baby. Now, I know. Amazing. Both these covers are great, especially the one on the right. Just saying. Tim DeCoos is amazing. The giant praying mantis is in the book. It's not actually in the book. And the main character is trying to be robots in the end. Yeah, it's a great ending. I already talked about this book, so let's get on with it. In 11th place is one of the most iconic books ever made from Goosebumps, which is Say Cheese and Die. Now, I've already talked about this. Hallelujah! I feel kind of bad for this book, because it just barely missed the top 10. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Greg, the main character, finds this haunted camera in the basement of the Kaufman house. Is that what it's called? When he takes pictures of something, he sees something in the photo that he didn't see before. Oh, he just took a picture of John. He has a screw through his foot. Oh, sorry, this is not the same book as that. Yeah, this book is extremely iconic, and it would be a crime to put it any lower, probably. But it just missed the top 10. But generally, it's a scary book. Like, Welcome to Dead House, Haunted Mask, Stay at the Basement.
Amaze balls, guys. Amaze balls. Amaze balls. Amaze balls. Amaze balls.
I have to admit something to you. 9 of the top 10 are actually books I've already talked to you about. But I've decided that in the original video, I didn't really talk about the top 10 very well. I didn't talk about One Day at Horrorland very well. I didn't talk about Night Terror Tower very well. I didn't talk about the Haunted Mask very well. I didn't talk about the Haunted Car very well. I didn't talk about any of them very well. But this time, I will give you a full synopsis of what happened and why I think these books are truly fantastic. But in order to do that, I have to go somewhere a little more cinematic. I'm saying cinematic because we're gonna do it in daytime, and we're gonna do it up there on top of the bookshelf to make everything more cinematic and dramatic. I'm doing this because I want to make the finale of this 2.5-hour video great and not sloppy. I want to make sure it's gonna make like, oh wow, he tried. So yes, you heard it there, folks. Children of Goosebumps, we're going up to the surface, baby. And we're gonna make the most epic, most metal finale ever. Play an epic, metal, amazing song that gives everybody the chills, or should I say, goosebumps.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash,
he did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard
He
smash.
did the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
he did the mash.
He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrode.
They did the mash,
They did the monster
the
mash.
monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
did the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
they did the mash.
They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun.
Welcome,
Not yet.
children of Goosebumps, to the final layer of Goosebumps, to the top 10 of Goosebumps, the greatest books that you will ever see in your life, in your lives, in your life. So, let's begin. Now, how do I show the first book? There we go, perfect. This is the first book in Goosebumps. And there's something very special about it. Stein didn't really know what to make of Goosebumps. He didn't really know the humor of it until much later. So this book is a lot scarier than most Goosebumps books. This book follows Amanda and Josh as they're moving into this new neighborhood, Dark Falls. But you see, Dark Falls is a little weird, because Dark Falls seems to be all about this one house. This one house that all the kids in the neighborhood seem to say they lived in at one time or another. Dark Falls is actually a trap made up of a bunch of zombies and ghouls that pretend to be normal humans. They're all very pale and pretend to be welcoming until you move into this house. Amanda and Josh make all these friends, but they find these gravestones that show the name of their friends on it, showing that they have died. So Amanda and Josh try to warn their parents, but it's too late. Their parents are in a trap, surrounded by the townsfolk, all the zombies, all the ghouls that were humans. The way they figure out to save the day is they realize that all the zombies and ghouls are afraid of the sunlight, so they can't be near it. They're always in the shadows, always waiting for the sun to go away. Slowly, Josh and I edge our way toward the amphitheater, ducking behind gravestones. I was desperate to see if Mom and Dad were there. "We're going to push this tree over," I whispered, with so much confidence that I surprised myself. "We're going to push the tree over so the sunlight will fill the amphitheater." Horrified cries, angry cries, frantic cries. The cries became horror, howls. Howls of pain, of agony. The people in the amphitheater, the living dead, caught in the golden sunlight. Yeah, they all died. Very good book. One of the best Goosebumps has to offer. What makes this book so good is the atmosphere of the farm. Jody loves visiting her grandparents' farm. Okay, so it's not the most exciting place in the world. Grandpa tells great scary stories, and Grandma's chocolate chip pancakes are the best. Grandma and Grandpa seem worn out, and a single scarecrow has been replaced by 12 evil-looking ones. Then one night, Jody sees something really odd. The scarecrows seem to be moving, twitching on their stakes, coming alive. Creepy. I know. What the description doesn't tell you is Stanley, this guy that works for Grandma and Grandpa on the farm, he is very superstitious. So he has a book of bad luck, charms, stuff, things. And he keeps it where you can always see it. And one of the bad luck charms is the scarecrow walks at midnight. When Stanley chants those words, the scarecrows come to life. And Stanley, throughout the entire book, threatens Grandma and Grandpa with this, saying if they don't listen to him and do what he says, then he'll make the scarecrows come to life. So when Jody comes in, she doesn't get her nice blueberry pancakes, because you see, Stanley doesn't want blueberry pancakes. He wants waffles. I don't remember what happens in the book. I just made that up. I mean, it could very well happen in the book, I just don't remember. Why is he following me? He's gonna ruin the whole joke, Jody says. As he came closer, he raised a straw hand as if pointing at me. Mark, what's wrong? I called in a loud whisper. He continued to gesture with his straw hand as he ran. Mark, get back in the field, I whispered. You're not supposed to follow me. And I stared into the cold, painted black eyes. I realized to my horror that it wasn't Mark. All the scarecrows in the field come alive, and that's all because of Stanley. The grandparents, Jody, Mark, and Styx fight them off. And Jody realizes their main weakness, which is fire. So she uses the fire to fight them fight them off. And this works. This book is utterly fantastic and creepy. How close is my eyeball to the screen? I feel like it's pretty close. Hallelujah. Also, Welcome to Dead House is also hallelujah. I don't know why I didn't say hallelujah. 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 I feel like you're being creeped out. Good. That's what I want you to be. That's what the top 10 gives you, baby. Anyway. In my opinion, this book is so much better than the original Night of the Living Dummy. As you saw, I showed you the original one for a split second, but you can go back in the original video, and I talked about both these books. The original Night of the Living Dummy book is so completely overrated. Too many people like it. They say it's the best sloppy book, but it's not. You see, this is the best sloppy book. Sloppy is at his prime here, and he is a savage. No, don't do that again. As you can see, both of these covers have their unique take on the book. One is made by Tim Jacobus, and it is creepy and scary. This one is made by Brandon Dorman, and it is scary. You didn't see anything? Yeah. Hey, if you do that again, Brandon Dorman, I'll hit you in the face. Sorry. I didn't mean to insult you. Oh, heck. Whenever each place, you're starting to tick me off a lot. You're like, who told you to do that? I think this has to be my favorite Brandon Dorman cover, and obviously one of the best sloppy covers. I think this is better than the original Night of the Dummy cover. So Amy's sister is a painter, and Sloppy messes with her sister's paint a bunch, and everybody blames Amy for her messing up the paintings. Now, my problem with this is I think the parents in this book are one of the most horrible Goosebumps parents ever.
Because earlier in the book, the little brother, I forgot his name, I think he's Eddie or something. Yeah. He messes up her sister's painting in the first place. And then after that, Sloppy causes all the other paintings. And they ask the kid once, did you do this? And he said, no. And they're like, oh, okay, we believe you. Then they asked the sister, Amy, if she did it. And she said no, because she'd never done it before. She never messed with any of her paintings. And they were like, I'm on to you. If you do this again, Amy. It's like, I didn't do it. Oh, well, I guess they're going to blame me forever. It's like, huh? You stupid? I think you're dumb. I think you're just dumb. What? Why would you blame Amy? Doesn't make any sense. Now,
enough rant about that. This is the best dummy book, which is because Sloppy constantly stays in the shadows, but we know he's doing it. The thing about the first book is, yes, the main villain in that book, the dummy, which is Mr. Wood, he's in the shadows, but he's not causing the trouble. He only causes the trouble near the end. That's why this book is so much better than the first book, because almost everything that happens in this book is caused by Sloppy. Sloppy does everything. He's not constantly trying to show everybody, hey guys, look, I'm Sloppy, look at me doing this stuff. Like in some other books, like in, I'm sorry, I had something in my throat. Or, sorry, wow, I can't get something in my throat. Or, oh, sorry, man, I can't get it out. Or, I think I'm dying, I can't get it out. Or, there's so many Sloppy books, it's gonna kill me. Luckily, we're now finally talking about the good one. The good one. In the end, Amy is able to convince her parents that Sloppy's doing it by having her parents hide in the closet of her room and seeing Sloppy do it. Amy has her little brother dresses up as Dennis, her old dummy, and attacks Sloppy. And Sloppy's head, like, bashes, and then, like, fog comes out of the head. Like, this green smoke comes out of the head, I think, is what happens. Or is that in the episode? I don't remember. And then, like, good job, little bro, the little brother of Amy. The little brother came in the room and was like, what? I haven't done it yet. I haven't even dressed up as Dennis yet. And then they realized that the Dennis that just attacked Sloppy was the Dennis that Amy had the entire time. Dennis was real too. So yes. Amazing. Fantastic. Really and truly. Goosebumps worthy. C tier. 9.5 out of 10 actually. But not quite 10 out of 10. On to the next book. Tara the Terrible. That's what Michael Webster calls his bratty little sister. She loves getting Michael in trouble, making his life miserable. Things couldn't get worse. Then Mr. Webster brings home the antique cuckoo clock. It's old, it's expensive. And Mr. Webster won't let anyone touch it. Poor Michael. He should have listened to his dad, because someone put a spell on the clock. A strange spell. A dangerous spell. And now Michael's life will never be the same. Ever again. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that again. This book is more goofier than the other 9 books in the top 10, I think. But it's goofier for a reason, because Michael keeps on going back in time. So Michael wants to blame Tara for ruining his life. She ruined his birthday, she ruined his bike, she embarrassed him in front of all his friends on his birthday. So Michael wants to get back at her. So he tries to mess with the clock to blame Tara that she messed with the clock. And when he turns the cuckoo bird around, bad things start to happen. He goes to sleep that night. Next day, he wakes up. But then he realizes, it's my birthday? But guys, it was my birthday a couple days ago. What is this about? He has to relive the same horrible day again. Tara ruining everything. Opening his presents, embarrassing in front of his friends, ruining his bike. Then he can't stop it. The next day he wakes up, and now he's 7 years old. Now he has to go to 2nd grade and be in class. So he tries to run to the antique shop, to the Cuckoo Clock Museum where it originally was. And he tries to get through the door, but it's locked. Next day he wakes up. Now he's a 5-year-old. And next day he wakes up. Now he's 3. The next day he wakes up, he's 1. And he has to deal with almost dying. If he goes to sleep that day, he's gonna wake up 0 years old. And if you do the math, nobody's ever been 0 years old. So you're gonna die. So he has to stop it. Luckily, his parents that day, when he's 1, are going to the antique shop to check out the clock. When he's in the antique shop, he manages to get away from his mother, climb on top of the clock, and turn the bird around. And then immediately things change. He immediately wakes up as a 12-year-old, hugs his parents, being like, goo goo gaga. He didn't actually, that would be pretty funny. But then he realizes, he wakes up in a different type of timeline, where Tara doesn't exist. But I still didn't understand what had happened to my little sister. Where was Tara? I carefully studied the face of the clock again, and all the decorations. Then I stared at the dial that showed the year. There it was, 1985, 1986, 1987, 1989. Wait a second, didn't it just skip a year? I checked the dates again. 1998 was missing. 1998 was the year Tara was born. I suppose there's some way to go back in time and get her. I guess I probably ought to do that. And I will. Really. One of these days. Maybe. Amazing. Oh, I forgot to get the ranking. I'll do that. The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Main idea, 4 out of 5. Cover art, 4 out of 5. Name of book, 5 out of 5. Characters, 3 out of 5. Villain, 3 out of 5. Ending, 5 out of 5. Everybody likes the ending because Tara's terrible. Scare factor, 3 out of 5. Pizzazz, 5 out of 5. Pizzazz, 5 out of 5. Woohoo! Of course, there's a lot of books so far that I've said that are 5 out of 5. I just haven't gone over the ranking. Overall, G tier. 10 out of 10. This book is about Margaret and her brother. I don't know what his face is. I forgot his name. Their dad doesn't let them go in the basement. Something weird is going down there. Something weird with plants. He said that he's able to turn the plants into carnivores. That's why he doesn't want them to go in the basement, is it? Because over time, the dad starts to act a little weird. You see, he starts eating plant food vigorously. Margaret sees him in the bathroom, cutting himself, and green blood coming out. Margaret finds worms in his bed. Margaret sees a head of plants on his normal head. You see, the dad, the entire time that they knew, is actually a plant. A plant that took over his own self. The Dr. Brewer spilled some blood in a plant carnivore he was working on, and then transformed into a clone version of himself. They figured this out from their normal dad stuck in a closet that was tied up by their plant dad. But Margaret needs to figure out which one is her real dad. Is it the one in the closet, or is it the one they've been seeing all a couple of past days? So she chooses. In the episode, the way Margaret figures out is her dad calls her princess. Margaret was wondering why the dad she'd known for the past couple of days wasn't calling her that. It's because it was a plant dad. But in the book, she cuts each of their blood and figures out that one of them bleeds red and one of them bleeds green. That's a much smarter way. So then she cuts the plant dad in half with an axe. Pretty gruesome. Oh, I forgot to put the other book up. Sorry, guys. There was pretty good covers, but this is obviously better. This is just very cartoonish, and this is very not cartoonish. So yeah. Amazing book. Wow, that's close. I actually haven't showed you guys this, but I have another cover of this book in this container. Oh, never mind, that's not the same. Nobody wants you cramped jelly. This is the other copy I have of The Haunted Mask. As you can see, this is the original one I read because of how beat up it is when I didn't care for my books, when I was a rotten child. Now I'm not a rotten child. As you can see, I take care of my books.
Oh heck, I was putting it on the bum snowman. No, that's not a good thing to do. Oh crap.
It's clear why so many people like this book so much. It's one of the most fleshed out. The main character, which I'm not going to say her name because everybody knows her name. She has one of the most iconic names, and she's one of the most iconic Goosebumps characters ever. But I refuse to say her name. How ugly is Carly Beth's Halloween mask? So ugly that it almost scared her little brother to death. So terrifying that even her friends are totally freaked out by it. It's the best Halloween mask ever. It's everything Carly Beth hoped it would be, and more. Maybe too much more, because Halloween is almost over, and Carly Beth is still wearing that special mask. She wants the mask to prank these two kids, Steve and Chuck, and if you remember Steve from the Haunted Mask 2, which I was talking about earlier, yes, if you remember from not long ago, like an hour ago, this video is so long. We're almost near the end. We're in the top 5, but we're gonna slow down because these books are amazing, and I want to show you how amazing they are. Carly Beth wants to scare Steve and Chuck, so she goes to this really scary Halloween store with a really weird store manager or clerk. I forgot. She goes in the back where she's not allowed, and she finds this weird-looking mask, haunted mask, and the guy tells her, "You're not allowed back here," but she takes the mask anyway and runs away. The first time she puts it on, she easily takes it off. The second time she puts it on, she has a little bit of trouble. The third time, though, is where the danger comes in. You see, finally at Halloween, and she has it on for way too long. She starts scaring all these kids. She's not acting like your Sculf. She's acting angry. Go away! Go away! She rasped.
And how come it's so warm, Sabrina asked. Is it uncomfortable to wear? You must be sweating like a pig. Feeling a surge of rage, Carly Beth dropped the bag and a broomstick. Shut up, shut up, shut up, she snarled. Then with an angry howl, she grabbed Sabrina's throat with both hands and began to choke her. Amazing.
And she figures out she can't take off the mask. Near the end of the book, she goes to the store to ask the guy who told her not to take the mask, and she says, "How do I take it off? I can't take it off." And he said, "I warned you. The mask, the only way it can be taken off is with a sign of love." So Carly Beth thinks, what is a sign of love? Well, early in the book, her mother makes her this sculpture of her own face, and Carly Beth thinks, hey, that's a sign of my mother's love for me. So she runs to where the last time she dropped it. In the episode, she buried it, which was very weird. She picks it up. She in the book, I talked about this in the original video. I thought the ending was silly, and then I started to think about it, and I think the ending isn't so silly, so I actually changed the ranking a little bit. Originally, this book was a 9.5 out of 10, with an ending of 3 out of 5 or something like that. Then I changed it to a 4 out of 5 for ending and a 10 out of 10. I was being kind of harsh on this book. Of course, Haunted Mask is great. It's literally my 5th favorite book. But people cannot understand that some books are just better. Like number 4, number 3, and number 2, and number 1. This book ends with Carly Beth finally taking out the mask from the sign of love. And she goes back to her house, drops the mask on the counter. Her younger brother, Noah, I think his name was, he picks up the mask and puts it on and says, "Hi, look, Carly Beth." Yeah, so. And that was never talked about again, by the way. Now, there's one more Haunted Mask book I still have not talked about, and it's this. I'm very excited to read this. It looks really good. So that's it for 5th place. Now, let's go on to the 4th best book I've ever read. And most people will call me crazy for putting this above Haunted Mask. But I say to you, you're crazy. Brooke's best friend, Zeke, has been given the lead role in the school play, The Phantom. Zeke's totally into it. He loves dressing up in the grotesque Phantom costume and scaring the other members of the cast. Brooke thinks Zeke is getting a little too into it, but then really scary things start happening. A message appears on a piece of scenery, a stage light comes crashing down. Is someone trying to ruin the play? Or is there really a phantom living on the stage? So in the book, they go into this trapdoor under the stage. They were told not to, but they do anyway after school hours. And they find this old man living in there, this really old guy, and he's like someone who lives in the school basement, and it's super weird. So everybody thinks, oh yeah, that guy's the Phantom. It turns out he's actually, spoiler alert, he's not the Phantom. This is another case of, Goosebumps adults just being completely incompetent and not being stupid. After, breaking into school and checking into the trapdoor, they have a teacher that catches them coming up from the trapdoor, and they tell the teacher, hey, there's somebody living in the basement. And the teacher's like, what? You're crazy. Instead of checking it out or calling the police, doing anything, she's just like, you're crazy. There's just another character in the book called Tina or Trina or whatever her name is, I forgot. And yes, I talked about this in a original video, but she truly is just horrible, completely horrible. She's constantly like, I want to be the main character to play. I want to do this. I want to do this. Ah. And she almost runs over the main character with her stupid bike. It's been a while since I read this book, and honestly, going through the pages of this book, it really reminds me of how great this book is. And then there's also this new kid that came into the school. His name is Brian, and I really liked Brian. I thought he was super cool in the book, not in the episode. In the episode, he's weird. But in the book, he's super cool. I kind of like him. He has a great personality. And the twist at the end, which I talked about in the original video, is completely amazing, and it makes the character of Brian even better. And you probably already know what I'm talking about, but I'll show you. The play was a major success. I searched for Brian. I wanted to tell him all about the Phantom, but I couldn't see him. Excited crowd of friends and parents. Come, let's get out of here, Zeke cried. He pulled me by the hand out of the auditorium and got into the hole. Whoa, we're hit, I exclaimed. I exclaimed. Ah, stop the blur, I swear I'll kill you. I exclaimed. It's a really old yearbook, I told Zeke. Look, it's from the school. But it's from the 1930s. Huh? How'd it get in your locker? My eyes fell on a torn sheet of paper tucked inside a bookmark. Wow, Zeke cried. I don't believe it. We were staring at a yearbook article about the play we had just performed. The Phantom to be performed in spring. Read the headline at the top. This must be written early that school year, I said. We know the play was never performed. We know the whole story of what happened back then. Hold the book up to the light, Zeke instructed. Let's check out the pictures. And we saw it. A small, blurred, black and white photo of the boy who had won the starring role. The boy who was to play the Phantom. The boy who had disappeared. The boy was Brian. Gosh, it's so good. So yes, it's not hard to see why this book is better than The Haunted Mask. The book is just better. I'm sorry. It just is. Anybody who says not, you're crazy, you wackos, and I'll fight you to the death.
And follow if you dare, let all who do beware, for you may find a scare that fills your soul with fright and gives you goosebumps in the night. You feel a flash.
So I don't have the original cover, sadly. I want it really badly. But we can do with a Brandon Dorman cover. Michael is a car fanatic. He knows everything that there is to know about every car there is. So when his parents buy a new sports car, he can't wait to have a ride in it. But there's something not right about this car. It has a mind of its own. Could it be haunted? And it does have a mind of its own. And it turns out that this car is actually haunted by a ghost. You see, the person who sold the car was acting really suspicious when he sold it. He sold it for a really low price. That's because the car he knew was haunted by his daughter. This random girl comes up to Michael and she says, you need to not be in the car, it's dangerous. She figures out that that girl who's talking to was the daughter of the man who sold it to him. So he thinks, oh wow, she's a ghost. He got to seeing a ghost and she was haunting the car. Michael is has this feeling and that's pulling him to get in the car and start driving it. When he gets in the car, he's locked in, he can't get out. And it starts driving on its own. It starts going through the trees, almost crashing multiple times, going on the train tracks, and is about to get hit by a train. but the ghost girl moves it just in time. A lot of people say that that's a plot hole in this book, that she moves out of the train tracks, and I'll tell you later why it's a plot hole, but it's actually not a plot hole, and I'll explain it to you later in a second. Michael's friends tell him to try to get in the car again. He gets in the car again, and he starts driving everywhere really recklessly. Not him, the car itself. And he's blamed for driving by his parents, I think. One day he goes, the guy who sold him the car's house, and he sees a picture of the girl he's been seeing near the car in his house. He's like, oh, so she's a ghost. But it turns out that the girl tells him that no, that's her twin sister, and she's been trying to warn him about the car being haunted by her twin sister. He's like, oh. So he gets in the car one last time, and a ghost girl pops up one last time. Yes, I replied in a trembling voice. I know who you are. I know the truth about you. Marissa's voice lowered to a cold whisper.
So what are you gonna do, Mitchell? She demanded. Now that you know the truth, what are you gonna do about it?
I'm talking to a ghost, I realized, and she just threatened me. No, please, let me go, I pleaded, pulling. I gripped the door handle and started to open the door. No, Mitchell, get away. No, Mitchell, get away, I warned myself. Don't do this, don't get in the car. It took a long time for me to realize I wasn't alone. I turned and saw someone beside me in the passenger seat. I was staring at a hideous ghoul, purple, rotted skin, lined and rutted like a decaying prune. Inky black eyes sunk back in the deep sockets, pulsing red veins up and down a broken nose, toothless green gums, swollen and dripping with yellow slime, torn lips twisted in an ugly grin.
I'm evil, I'm so evil.
She drives him away from the house one last time, and she drives him back into the house and is about to run him into the house. But then the entire house is on fire. Parents run out of the house and say, Michael, we're so glad you're okay. The ghost girl starts saying,
No, I did good. I saved Michael from the house fire. I can't do good, I'm evil.
So she starts, melting away.
No, I'm supposed to be evil. I'm so evil.
You get my point. So she dies because she saved him from dying. And let's go back to the plot hole earlier where she saves him from getting hit by the train. She didn't save him. She was tormenting him. So a lot of people say it's a plot hole. It's not a plot hole because it's tormenting. Okay, so she's trying to make his life more miserable. Beautiful. D tier, 10 out of 10. Woo! We all love you. We love you. There's only 2 more books left. Let's move on.
Then before you even know it, you've got goosebumps, goosebumps. You're covered head to toe in goosebumps.
And yet you feel a strange delight.
So follow if you dare, but all who do beware. For you may find a scare that fills your soul with fright and gives you goosebumps in the night.
Werewolf Village, the Doom Slide, the Coffin Cruise. These are just a few of the terrifying attractions that await Luke and Lizzie Morris at Horrorland. So Luke and Lizzie are brothers and sisters, and they have... I don't blame you, One Day Horrorland. I don't blame you. I blame everything else. Luke and Lizzie are brothers and sisters, and they had their friend Clay going with them to the zoo, but they can't really find it. They're lost, so their parents check the map and where they are. Then they figured out that there's this place called Horrorland right next to them. And all the kids like,
Please, Mom and Dad, please, let's go to Horrorland.
And they're like, fine. This Ku Klux Doom and stay in the basement to fight to be which one is silliest. I think maybe Ku Klux Doom is the funniest, but this is the silliest. So they all want to go to Horrorland, and they go inside. And they're greeted by these monstrous green purple monstrous people. Like that. And they call themselves horrors. And so they go on each ride. They go into this coffin that goes down the river, and they can't get out. There's a spider in the coffin. I don't remember much about like what the rides happen. Book once in the past, it was when I didn't really like reading Goosebumps as much. I remember it very well, but I don't remember some sequences. So near the end, they get trapped by the horrors, and they're about to. The horrors are acting like they're gonna, hurt them or kill them. But then they say, "Welcome to our game show." A few seconds before, the plaza had been empty. Now it was filled with green costume horrors marching toward us, spreading out, preparing to surround us. I could feel the panic rise up from my stomach. My knees began to shake. Couldn't move. What are they doing? Clay cried. I'm the Horrorland MC. We all want to thank you for being our guest today.
You mean we can go? Luke demanded, half hidden by my dad. Of course, Horror said, grinning warmly. But first, we all want to thank you for appearing on Horrorland Hidden Camera. The dozens of horrors behind her broke into applause and loud cheers. Huh? You mean this is some kind of show? Dad demanded, frowning. See the cameras, the MC asked? She gestured up to 2 tall poles in the plaza, raising my head to the top. I saw TV cameras. Welcome to Horrorland Challenge. You have 1 minute to go through the monster obstacle course. Please keep in mind that the games are now over. This is real. You're playing for your life. We've been tricked, I heard Dad cry angrily. Run, the voice on the loudspeaker boomed. 20 seconds to live. Dizzy and hurt, I looked up inside to see an enormous elf-like creature about to flatten me with its huge, furry black foot. I'm not gonna make it, Royce. I'm not gonna make it.
So then they are able to escape from Horrorland. And they realized the way to defeat the horrors was by popping them with a bunch of pins. Because one pop, like a balloon, and they're dead. Which I thought was kind of funny. So they're able to escape, they're driving home, and they get home and like, yay, we're finally done. But then, did you ride there the whole way home? Luke asked in disbelief. I shrank back as the horror let go of the bus and slid to the ground. His yellow eyes studied us menacingly. Here, he said, we forgot to give you your free passes for next year. The silliest book in the top 10. Not the silliest book ever, because the silliest book ever, Chicken. But this book is very special. And putting the Haunted Mask above it is just, I don't agree with it. This really is the first book I actually ever read from Goosebumps. So that's just kind of, the enjoyment level was like here, So putting it deserves this place. It really does. But there was only one book that really was better. And the next book that really was better, you might be able to expect what it is. I haven't said it yet, so you probably will know what it is. It hasn't even changed from the original video. So now, after 2 hours of filming, we have one more final ride into the sunset. One last book. After 89, some horrible, some okay, some great, some wonderful, some really great books, we're finally going to the final, the best Goosebumps book I've ever read. I didn't talk about it that much in the original video, so I'm making this it, This is the finale of this 2.5 billion hour video. This is it. This is it. Do you understand me? This is it. There's kids playing outside. I don't care. I haven't seen outside in like 11 days or something. Are you ready? The best book I've ever read of Goosebumps. Why is this book number 1? Why does this book deserve to be ahead of all the 89 books? Why? Why is this book 89 books better than Night of the Squawker? Oh gosh, it's so ugly you can't even see it. Why is Night in the Terror Tower better than this? Because this has no soul. This book you can feel. You can feel the power. You can feel the energy. You can feel Earl Stein furiously typing at his typewriter. And it has the best villain in all of Goosebumps, Lord High Executioner. Sue and her brother Eddie are visiting London when they run into a little problem. They can't find their tour group. Still, there's no reason to panic, but there's no way their tour group would just leave them all alone. in a gloomy old prison tower, and a strange, dark figure who wants him dead. That dark figure who wants him dead, I've already said his name, Lord High Executioner. So Sue and Eddie are with their tour guide going through the terror tower, and the tour guide leads them to the very top of the tower with a strange room that looks like it's a prison cell. The tour guide tells them long ago a princess and prince were locked up for, I don't remember existing, I think. They were waiting to be executed, beheaded, when one night the prince and princess mysteriously disappeared. They had no idea where they went. Shortly after the tour guide explained that to them, Sue and Eddie walked away from the tour group into another room, walked back, and found the tour group was completely gone, and everything was dark, and nobody was in the terror tower now. It was only just Sue and Eddie. And then a strange figure says, Come with me, you stupid children. Come with me. I want you to come with me. Come to the chopper." But a strange figure called Lord High Executioner wants them dead. Lord High Executioner chases them throughout the entire terror tower, and they're able to escape through a sewer. Now they're in the middle of the street. Then they go back to their hotel room to find their parents, but their parents aren't there. The room had been made up. The bed was smooth and unwrinkled. There was no message for us anywhere. The dresser top lay bare, no clothes tossed over a chair, no shoes on the floor, no briefcases or notepads from their meeting. No sign that anyone had ever been in the room. "What is going on here?" I cried. Their parents were completely gone. They had no idea where their parents went. Then they eat at this restaurant. They go in the back of the restaurant and find themselves in a completely different place. Sue is in this dark, gloomy area and can't find her brother, Eddie. And they've actually time traveled in the past to when the Terror Tower was, a thing, and Lord High Executioner was a thing. Lord High Executioner was saying to them, hold still, and he was holding 3 rocks in his hands. He was trying to time travel back to the past and bring them back. But why is he bringing them back? So Sue and Eddie go back to medieval times in this London area, and Sue finds her way to the town trying to find her brother, and Lord High Executioner catches Sue and Eddie and puts them in his carriage thing. And he tells them how they have to be executed and beheaded because they are the prince and princess. They were sent to the jail cell where they originally were at, and this time they didn't disappear because Lord High Executioner was able to try and time travel forward in time and get them. You might be asking, why were the prince and princess forward in time? Well, that's because when they were waiting in their jail cell, a wizard saved the prince and princess by sending them back in time with 3 rocks. The Lord High Executioner figured it out, and he got very angry. He said, how could you do this? How could you send them back in time? So he stole the rocks. Now Sue and Eddie remember everything. The wizard tells them what happened, and now Sue and Eddie remember exactly what happened. Eddie is able to take the rocks away from Mordred, time travel back in time with Mordred. And Mordred acts like their father, and in the end... "I hadn't borrowed these from your robe," he told Mr. Morgan. "The tour guide would be telling a very different story, wouldn't she?" "Yes, she would," the sorcerer replied thoughtfully. "A very different story. Let's get out of here," I cried. "I never want to see the tower again." "I'm starving," Eddie exclaimed. "How about we go to Burger Palace for some good, old, 21st century hamburgers and fries?" Before, in the very beginning, was the horrible night of this clocker. Main idea, 1 out of 5. Cover art, 1 out of 5. Name book, 1 out of 5. Characters, 1 out of 5. Villain, 1 out of 5. Ending, 1 out of 5. Scare factor, 1 out of 5. Pizzazz, 1 out of 5. Overkill, D tier, 2 out of 10. A Night in Terror Tower. Main idea, 5 out of 5. Cover art, 4 out of 5. Name book, 4 out of 5. Characters, 5 out of 5. Villain, 5 out of 5. Ending, 5 out of 5. Scare factor, 5 out of 5. Pizzazz, 5 out of 5. Finally, overall, G tier, 10 out of 10. Am I done? Why did I do this? I can see the light. Why? Why did I do this? You may be asking. What do you get to gain from this? I've given you a tour. I've told you all the books I've read. I've done some other stupid stuff too. I did this. Well, I didn't really do this. If you thought I wrote in this, I didn't. Yeah, I don't have good handwriting. My mother wrote in this. How long is the video right now? Oh my gosh. Like I said in the very beginning, this is my bookshelf. And my bookshelf is beautiful. I know it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. President me a year ago, he would be proud. I fulfilled the pact. I feel like I've lost blood. Definitely lost blood up here. Don't take away from this video that I am sad about making this video, because I'm not. This bookshelf means a lot to me. I'm glad I made a 2.5 hour video about it. I don't care if you don't like it. I did it. This bookshelf needs a Medal of Honor for being beautiful. My little, beautiful, scary. Not really. It's not scary. These books will scare me. It's scary. Scary. We're finally done. We're finally done. Now, I'm gonna go right into the sunset. But you know, a 2.5 hour video without credits is like a Goosebumps book without a twist at the end. You know? So if I didn't make credits, that would be dumb, wouldn't it be? So sit back and relax. And finally realize that it's all gonna be over. And enjoy the next 3 minutes. Ow, jeez.
Earth angel, will you be mine? My darling dear, love you all the time. I'm just a fool in love with you. Earth angel, the one I adore. Love you forever and evermore. I'm just a fool in love with you. I fell for you, and I knew the vision of your love's loveliness. I hope and I pray that someday I'll be the vision of your happiness. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Earth angel, please be mine. My darling dear, love you for all time. a fool in love.